Well, welcome back to another episode of this is probably the best YouTube channel on YouTube. If I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? He's doing that, he knows what I'm saying. Basically what we're gonna do for you guys is we're gonna teach you how to fish a senko and a shaky head. Don't even comment on why I'm sitting like this. It's because it looks super awesome.
I feel like this is something that we've needed to do for a while. We talk about baits on the water, but it's one thing to talk about it and show you while we're actually filming a fishing video. It's another thing to sit down and actually show you how to rig the stuff, how to tie a knot, how we're fishing these things, what it looks like underwater, and you're going to get to see all that today. But before we get too far into this, make sure you like,
share,
and subscribe. Leave a comment, and if you like this series on the channel, please let us know in the comments so we can do more of these. There's a bunch of baits we talked about. We just decided to do these today because it's what we've been fishing lately.
And if you want to be exactly like Yak Crew, make sure that every time you sit down just like this.
And give it a full wing dang.
And give it a full wing dang. Yeah, you got a point there. I feel like some people don't know about that wing danger. You know what I mean?
Some people don't. You got to watch the other videos to figure out about the wing dang.
What he said. But it's about that time that we teach them a little something. I know a lot of you people out there probably know, but there are people out there that don't. If you're new to fishing, this is the video for you, cuz.
I feel like there's a lot of people that watch our videos that don't know too much. We can say all day long, like, okay, I was throwing a shaky head, or I was throwing a senko, and they're like, okay, well, how are you doing it? So today, that's where this video comes into play.
Well, dude, let's teach them something. So what's going to happen is Chase is going to show you how to use a senko. I'm going to teach y'all how to use a shaky head. And first thing I'm going to tell you is I probably would recommend you use a heavy rod, which is what I have right here. Use a heavy rod and a fast action tip on a shaky head. That's how I like it. Other people might tell you different, but in my opinion, the best results that I can get is off a heavy rod with a fast action tip. Show you how to tie this knot, show you how to put the worm on, and then I'm going to show you how to fish it. Alright, so the knot that I use right here is a uni knot, and I was taught this by someone else. I know other people might tell me it's not a uni knot, but someone else taught me how to do this knot, and it's a different way than other people normally do it. So I slide it through that loop just like I did right there, and I grab my tag in, and then I just start twisting the bait just like this, and it puts a twist in the line. I do it usually about 5 times. Then I take my tag in, and I loop it through this bottom loop right here. And then I take that tag in and I loop it through another loop right here. I grab it, just like that, and then I just pull it tight. And that right there, my friends, is the knot that I like to use on a spot remover shaky head. Now, I have a worm right here. I actually bought this worm from Cabela's. I don't even know what it's called, but I use them a lot earlier in the year. But I'm gonna show you how to rig this up on this shaky head right here. And then after that, we're gonna give you some underwater footage and a couple fish catches to show you how it's done. So what you do is you bite the tip of it off. And the reason why you do that is because when you bite the tip of it off, it creates a flat edge right here, which makes it a lot easier to screw it onto the hook. So what I do is I take it just like this, I take the hook and I just push it right through just like this, and I twist it on just like that. Then what I do is I make sure that the flat end is on the bottom, just like that. What I like to do is I try to take the point of the end of the hook to where it meets the worm, and that right there is where I would line up the point of the hook, and then I slide it in just like that. But I do not expose the hook, but it's just below the surface. When you set the hook on the fish, it'll puncture through just like this and go right into its mouth. And the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is just go ahead and pitch it into the water. And what you're probably going to end up seeing right now is this thing fluttering to the bottom. And if you kind of look at it, it goes like this a little bit. That right there alone, a lot of the time, will get that fish just to even look at it. What you want to do, you're going to want to jerk it like this, like that. Or you can do it once. You can do a hard one. I don't really do a hard one, but little ticks like this. Anything that you can do to kind of change up and get that fish's attention. Because what bass basically are is they're ambush predators. If they see that action down there and they're hiding behind a log or a tree or a rock or grass or whatever, they see that thing moving back there and it looks like something that's alive, they're gonna take it. And the first thing I always like doing with this thing is I let it sink to the bottom, which usually probably would take about 10 seconds or so, maybe less than that depending on where you're at. There's ways you can do. I've caught it just from swimming it like this. I've caught fish just from doing this. There have been times where I've had it right at the kayak, about to pull it out of the water, and all of a sudden the fish will just come up and take it. The reason why I like fishing this shaky head is because a lot of the times, at certain times of year, say winter time or late summer, these fish are right there on the bottom trying to get away from either the hot water or the cold water. And in the winter time they want to be where the water's warmest, and in the summertime they want to be where the water's coldest. Both of those times of year is at the bottom. And what this does is it goes straight to the bottom. So if the fish are down there on the bottom and they're skimming down there and they see this thing going across their face, if you can get it right in front of their face, 9 times out of 10, they're just gonna chomp right down on it. This one right here, this is called a spot remover, and it's by Buckeye Lures. And what it has is a flat bottom, whereas there's those shaky heads that have round bottoms. The flat bottom makes sure that that thing just sitting flat on the bottom like this, and the bait sticking straight up like that. And what you're probably seeing right now is how that bait is sticking straight up in the air like that. There's no way a fish isn't gonna notice that. If you were to fish like a round bait, what it can do is it can tilt this way, it can tilt that way, it can tilt this way, it can tilt that way. That's if you're trying to get more action. But if you want that thing to just stick straight up and stand out, the flat bottom spot remover is the way to go. I don't know, I can tell you right now, I probably caught at least most of my fish this year on this. I caught at least 60% of the bass I've caught this year on this spot remover shaky head. You can fish it with a ribbon tail worm, you can fish it with this trick worm I got right here, you can fish it with a creature bait, you can fish it with a lizard, you can fish it with a million other things. Anything that has finesse to it and you can take it to the bottom and you want to really pick off the fish that are suspended down there, shaky head is the way to go. And I can promise you, it will not disappoint you.
So Walker talked to you guys a little bit about the shaky head. Now I'm gonna talk to you about the senko a little bit. Some people call it a stick bait. Me personally, I'm gonna fish the Gary Yamamoto, and there's a reason for that. This worm right here has got a lot more buoyancy than other worms. It will actually, when you throw it, actually come to the bottom a lot quicker, and it almost does like a flapping motion. You guys will see that soon. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the senko and different tips on how to fish that. Alright, so Walker showed y'all one knot. This is kind of similar. This is called the fisherman's knot. You're just gonna take your line through the eyelet and you're gonna wrap it around. I'm gonna get a good bit of line. I'm gonna wrap it around about 7 times, just like so. And I say about because it doesn't matter. You want to at least do 7 though. So I got my line wrapped. Now I'm gonna take the tag in below, and usually I use my mouth to do this part, but I'm gonna do it like this so you guys can see. So I'm gonna pull it tight, and it looks like a sloppy mess right now, but watch what happens when I pull it tight. See how crisp that is? And then you're gonna cut your tag in off. That's what I'll throw most of the time on a senko. There's a lot of knots you can use. Nobody's saying any knot's the right one. That's just what I throw most of the time. And this hook, by the way, is like a 3 or 4. That's what you wanna throw on them. So that's what works best for me. I'm not saying that's what's gonna work best for you, but that's what I have success with. So I'm gonna show you guys how to rig this now. It's very easy. A lot of people think, you know, throwing a senko is taking the easy way out. I love it. Walker loves it. We both caught our PBs on it, a 10 and a 12. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. The easy way, weightless, is what I'm about to show you right now, and that is like how I love to throw a senko. It's an awesome way to fish. Fish will pounce on this thing. We're gonna show you a couple different styles in the water, but I'm gonna show you how to get the worm on the hook. All right, y'all, this is easy. 3 to 4 size hook. You're just gonna put the worm in the front, just a little bit. You want enough to cover this top piece right here. And I actually like my worm to come up above the knot tie a little bit. I didn't cut the tag off of this, but just gonna slide it on up the hook. And you see I've got the knot and the straight part of the hook covered, and then I'm just gonna push up a little bit and then pull down. And basically what happens when a fish hits this, a lot of times they'll grab right here, and you got to really give them a second with the senko, and they'll inhale it the rest of the way, and they'll bite down right here, and when you pull and set the hook comes out like that into the fish's mouth. So I put the weightless, well, we call weightless Texas rig. It's just a hook with the worm in it on. And it's got a lot different of an action, and I'll bump this one more frequently when I'm fishing it because it falls quicker for some reason this way. One of the things I'll tell you about fishing this bait this way, when you feel a fish hit it, just make sure you let the fish have it for a second before you set the hook. A lot of people ask in a lot of our videos, a lot of times I'll be like, oh, there was a fish, I just had a bite. And people will say, you know, like, dude, when I get a bite, I set the hook right away. Well, with this kind of bait, you really want to let them have it. This is the primary way I fish this bait. I love to fish it this way. It's got so much action. It'll cover the whole water column. As you can see, I'm kind of bumping it along in front of the underwater cameras right now. It's just all over the place. and I think that's why the fish like it. So I'm gonna show you guys one more thing, one more tip for this thing while I've got it tied on. A lot of people when they fish finesse, they'll throw it, they'll bump it along where they think they want to fish, and then they'll start burning that thing in. I've noticed a lot of times when you're fishing a senko especially, I know it's been in our videos before, but you start burning that thing, just always keep an eye on it because fish will come up and bust on it. I don't know what it is, I don't know if they think it's a snake or what, but I've caught a lot of fish like that. Don't take your eye off the bait, fish it as long as you can, but it can even be helpful sometimes in a lot of thick grass to throw it over and just kind of slowly wind it through. There's a lot of argument over the weightless Texas rig and the Wacky rig. Well, this right here is a Wacky rig hook, and I'm just gonna show you how to put the senko on. I didn't tie another knot or anything. We gave you 2 knots to use. I'm just gonna show you how this works. It's fairly easy. All right, y'all, so all you do with this Wacky rig hook, I've already got the knot tied. I'd probably cut that tag in line off, but you just push down the wire that makes it weedless. That piece right there keeps your weeds off. And all you do is take this senko about halfway. Some people do it offset a little bit. Slide it on there like that. And then put your weed guard back on. That one's offset a little bit. Just like that. And I'm just gonna show you the action this has and how you kind of work it. You actually work the senko pretty much the same both ways. So it'll be this will be kind of a shorter clip, but I'm just gonna give you some tips on fishing it. So that's set up Wacky rig. I'm gonna throw it in the water. So I'm gonna let the senko sink to the bottom. A lot of times in the summertime, you'll see fish busting on the water a lot in the river and stuff. And when I see them busting, sometimes I'll try to throw it at their head, and a lot of times they'll hit it right off the top of the water. So you're gonna let it sink all the way, and I'm watching it right now. I'm gonna watch it hit the bottom, and you guys probably could see it sinking as well. And you're just gonna kind of give it a couple bumps. So when you're fishing the senko, you want to go real slow. A lot of times the fish will even hit it on the paws. You get it to the bottom, you might not have even worked it yet. You felt it hit the bottom, and a lot of times you'll feel a chomp. But you're just giving this thing such subtle bumps, just like I am right now. Like I was saying before too, the Gary on Moto Senko sinks a lot quicker than like a Yum Dinger, Big Bites bait. You're just subtly twitching this thing. With the Wacky rig, it's giving it this motion where it's doing this, and you guys probably see if you're looking at the underwater footage we're showing you. Easy bait to throw though, easy bait to fish, easy bait to learn how to catch fish on. My cousin showed me this bait for the first time a long time ago actually. Like I said, it's one of the things I keep in my tackle box, but when he showed it to me, I was like, man, that thing's just a stick. Like, how's a fish gonna want to eat that? But they love it. They tear it up. I don't know what it is about it, but just the senko is the way to go river fishing, I'm telling you. We hope you guys enjoyed this. We hope that you've seen the footage and we gave you a couple tips on how we rig these things and fish them. And this helps you, further along, whether you're getting into kayak fishing or just now getting into fishing. I hope this video helps you. That's the whole aim for this video, is to help people that are new to fishing or people that want to try different things they haven't tried or heard of.
Before we end this video, I gotta point out the fact that Kevin Fox, you the man, dude. I know that I punctured a hole in my kayak the other day, and the fact that you're hard at work right now working on my kayak.
Grade A audio right here.
Alright, anyway, I appreciate you, Kevin. It means a lot to me that you're working on my kayak for me right now. I know that it was a little bit last minute, but you never know when that rock gonna puncture your yak. So I appreciate you. And now that we got this video being filmed, we can get back on that water. If you want to get in touch with Kevin Fox yourself, make sure you hit that description below. I have the address, the Instagram page, contact number, and his website. If you want to get a kayak, anything like that, make sure you hit Kevin Fox at Southern Outfitters in Evans, Georgia. I hope we guys taught you a little something if you didn't already know it. And I'll catch you dudes on the next one, bros.
Like, share, subscribe. Peace.
Damn, I had to be Jack.